What's up everybody, it is Og here, back with another video. In today's video, we are done with week 1 of our 30,000 gold challenge. If you guys did not know, in the month of August, I'm trying to farm 30,000 gold. I did my intro video going into why I picked 30,000. If you guys want to check that out, I'm not gonna be able to play every single day. And so for this month, we were able to play 4 days. Some of those days were, 5-hour streams, some were 10-hour streams. We were able to play 4 days this first week and made a ton of progress. Guys, if you haven't come check out this challenge yet live at twitch.tv/OGHest, definitely come hang out. Feel free to ask me any questions you want. We're making a lot of progress along the way and learning a lot about these farms. And that's what I want to go through in this video. What farms I've done this week, what I've learned, what I would do differently maybe, and some tips and tricks that should be able to help you out with your guys' gold farms as you go through. So day 1, I started out in Shattered Halls. Now I have a unique situation in which I have 2 mages. And so my thought process is, well, if I can make a lot of money with these 2 mages, obviously typically you'd have to split the gold, I can keep all that money. And so Shattered Halls I thought would be a great way to start. I also realized that if I can farm all the way to the original Shattered Halls boost location, maybe I could farm up that location for a little bit, maybe get a lucky blink strike. And that was basically my mentality with it. I was also curious how many times we could go ahead and kill the first kind of Shattered Halls version of the farm before we don't get any experience. If you guys didn't know, we had the original Shattered Halls farm come out, and then it got nerfed. And basically after a certain period of time, the mobs no longer give XP, rep, or loot. And so I was curious how long it would take. So what we did was I took my 2 mages and I took some boosties and actually cleared up to that part. Now it was just my 2 mages doing the clearing all the way until the boss, and then the boss we actually burned down with them. And then post the boss, it was just my 2 mages again. But we were able to clear past the first boss in about 37 minutes and get to that AoE part of the grind. So once we got there, we were ready to try out this section and to try to figure out the best way to do this farm. Now, a couple different things for you guys to know if you decide that you want to go over to Shattered Halls yourselves. The experience is really good. So for the first 37 minutes, we were able to get about 70,000 experience. And then through this back half, you can average about 220,000 experience. So the experience is very good. There is an issue though in which these mobs no longer give experience at some point. And so that's what I had to figure out. I also wanted to figure out how we could best reset the mobs in order to get the most experience and to go through it as quickly as possible. What I learned very early on is that you can't log out on your other mage until you are very far away. So if you're only doing it with 1 mage, if you're just doing it yourself, then you basically have to use invisibility. And every 5 minutes you go invisible and then you're good to go. If you're doing it with 2 mages like you see here, one of the mages can log out while the other uses invisibility. This allows you to basically churn through the mobs every 3 to 4 minutes rather than every 5 minutes for the invisibility cooldown, which is nice because you can go a little bit quicker and in theory get your boosties a little bit more experience. But as I said before, the downside is that you have to run far away. Well, what I found out was that even if you do this, even if you go faster, you're just going to be reaching that lockout quicker because you can only kill these mobs and reset them 6 times. So, well, you can reset them 5 times. You can kill them 6 times. After the 6th time, they will no longer give experience. This means you can get, I believe, 96 kills. Quick math, yeah. 96 kills of these mobs. Get, close to 1,000 experience a mob for each of your boosties, so it's about 96,000 experience, and you can do that very quickly, but you can only do that 6 times, and then you'd have to reset the entire dungeon, run back through. So this wasn't a great gold making opportunity. Now you can sell the boost and you can sell just the front half of it, which is pretty good. And you can look at, the upper 100s to low 200,000 experience range for boosties per hour, which is very good and comparable with Steam Vaults. And so you can look at probably about 50,000 or 50 gold per run, each run being about, 15 minutes. And so you can look at, between the 2 of you, probably about 600 gold per hour, I would say, from the boosties. The loot was not fantastic though, as there's no specific item that you're getting from here, but you are obviously getting honor hold rep, which is great as well. So I would say overall this farm was pretty good, and between the 2 boosties, including loot and everything like that, I was making probably in the range of about 600 to 700 gold per hour. Now day 1 was a lot of, testing, and so after buying some mats at the end of the stream and after gearing up a little bit, I only ended up making 1,272 gold on day 1. Which means I had a long way to go in order to reach the 30,000 gold. And because I can't play for 30 days during the month, I would not hit my goal of 30,000 gold if I farmed as I did. Now I farmed for about 4 hours that day, And so, I was about 1,500 gold before we spent some of the gold. So I made a decent bit, but it was definitely not enough in the challenge. So I switched up the farms and I wanted to go check out Schollo. Now the idea with Schollo is that some of these mobs are going to drop dark runes and we can farm them. And between my mage and my paladin, I should be able to burn through these mobs pretty quickly and farm up some serious gold. And that was honestly exactly how it was going. We were actually able to farm up about 500 to 600 gold per hour in Scholomance with the mage and the pally. The pally would round up the mobs with my normal AoE farming techniques with the pally, and then my mage would help burn them down. There was only really one extra pack that we were able to pull in addition to what the paladin normally pulls though. And so this is actually a really, really good paladin solo farm. You can be looking at about 400 to 450 gold per hour. But with the mage, we were able to pull in about 500 to 600, and our best run was about 620 gold per hour as our rate. So I would probably say that the duoing of, Schollo was about 500 gold per hour. We decided though that I also want to check out Strat, right? Because, Strat's going to be comparable as well. If it's a paladin soloing, Schollo is going to be a little bit better than Strat. But if we have our mage helping as well, we can go over into the live side and actually burn down the live side. And here's where we started making some really good gold. Now, if I practice this a little bit more, I think I could probably get up to about 700 gold per hour. But I was dying a lot. I was learning the pools, which mobs stun, because that stun's really annoying. A lot of mobs are doing holy strikes, which is just eating straight through my paladin's health. And so I did a lot of testing with it. And, I would probably say that a safe bet right off the bat is about 600 gold per hour. But then eventually you can reach up to that 700 gold per hour. This is a much more difficult farm though, especially to dual box with a mage and a paladin, but it's definitely possible and can get you some really good gold if you're a paladin and have a mage friend, or vice versa. Overall, for day 2, we spent a lot of the day kind of testing these strategies to see if they would work. Obviously, we're really early on into the competition, or the challenge rather, and so we can spend some time trying to see what strategies work, but we really weren't able to farm much gold at all on day 2 because a lot of the gold was spent on repairs from dying, and just a lot of the time was spent, trying to burn down the mobs itself. I didn't get any really lucky drops, and so we really didn't make much gold at all. Day 3, though, was a completely different story. Now, I decided that I wanted to go back to the mages because I could really make a lot of gold with some of the mages, and I wanted to test out Steam Vaults because I knew that Steam Vaults had some good opportunities as well. I needed to improve a lot though, and I needed to get some gear because my mages were not geared enough to do Steam Vaults. They had way too little health when I first went in there. I was talking like 5,000 and 6,000 health. And so I went and purchased some gear. After buying all that gear from my mages and getting them set up to be able to do the farm, I was at 1,576 gold going into day 3. Obviously, way too low of a gold count. Fortunately though, Steam Vaults was very nice, and we found the holy grail of farms, guys. If you can see here, each of my mages was making about 200 to 250 gold in loot alone per hour. In addition, I'm selling each of the spots for the run. On the first day I was selling them for 40 gold, second day I was selling them for 50 gold per run, which means that with 3 boosties, every single 15-minute run is what we've gotten it down to. It's between 15 and 17 minutes. We're making an extra 150 gold per person, 50 gold per person, so 150 gold per run. That means that we are making approximately 1,000 to 1,100 gold per hour. Now, obviously it's my 2 mages, so I'm getting to keep that whole gold, but even just by yourself, you're making a ton of gold, even if you have, a friend mage helping you out. And it'd be much easier if it was two people actually playing the characters rather than just one person playing 2 mages. This gold is insane though. Every single run, there is 2 chests, so you want to have an engineer. There's also multiple ores that spawn, and if I had mining, I'd be making even more gold. Each of those chests is going to contain an average of about 20 gold's worth of items, and you can also get living rubies, so you can have a big spike up from that. We've gotten 1 epic, but unfortunately it was a pattern, which was really bad, only about 80 gold worth. So we haven't had any crazy good drops, and we've still been averaging about 1,000 to 1,100 gold per hour, and keeping up our RuneScape gains, of course. Now, we grinded for 8 hours on day 3, but as you can see, we got up to 5,931 gold. Again, I spent some gold on raid mats that night, so I spent some of the money too, and we were still at 5,931. I also, spent a lot of the time dying a little bit. I was still trying to get down the Steam Vault strat. Now we have it down pretty well. We still die for sure sometimes, but we have it down pretty well. It's tough to dual box. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It is tough to do as 2 people, but look at this gold count. We then spent 4 more hours farming steam vaults on day 4. And just in case you think like there were some lucky drops from the first few hours, you can still see farm log up here in the top right, 200 and 220 gold per hour in steam vaults while we've been in there, and the actual gold that we've looted on each of the 2 tunes. Why we're making this much money, guys, is the chests. We're getting coil fang armaments, which are worth probably about 3 gold on your server right now. But with SSC coming out, because you can turn them into basically super mana potions, I expect them to go up to about 5 gold each. And then you're getting a ton of greens and blues for enchanting mats if you have a disenchanter. So my paladin is a disenchanter, or an enchanter, so we can disenchant. Send over all the greens over to the paladin, disenchant them, and we're just getting a ton of raw materials that way. On top of that, the actual raw gold's insane. Each run that we do, we're making about 15 gold, raw gold as well. So this is just an insane farm. The experience for the boosties, if there's 1 boosty, it's 220k experience per hour roughly. 2 boosties is about 250 to 260k. And then if you're solo boosting this, so it's just 1 person getting the boost, it's around 300,000 experience per hour for the boosties. So the experience is phenomenal, and you're making a ton of gold in this farm. So after day 4, week 1, how much are you at? Well, you can take a look up at the top here at Titan panel, and you can see the gold that we have per tune, and then we also have OGHest, who has some gold on it as well. But in order to appropriately calculate it, I need to go into my bank and look at some of the things that I'm holding on to. Now, I'm holding on to some of these things because phase 2 is on the PTR and is likely going to be coming out soon. I will sell all these by the time that the competition or the challenge is over to make sure that, I have the actual raw gold of 30,000 gold if I can hit it. But right now we're hoarding up on these mats because there's a good chance that they're going to go up in price, in my opinion. With all these mats, we have to take a value of these items. As I said before, coil fang armaments, I'm putting at a value of about 5 gold a piece. Arcane dust, I'm going to put at a value of about 2 gold per piece. Greater planners, 5 gold. Large prismatics, 20 gold. Now that's my expectation for phase 2 prices. Could be less, could be more, but that'll at least give us a ballpark. Once we do that, we can take a look at the actual gold that we have. Taking the value of all those items in the bank, we have about 3,367 gold banked. From our account, we can see up on the Titan panel that we have 2,431 gold on account 1. And then on OGHest, we have 3,285 gold. And then lastly, my current auction, so that's the epic that we got, and then another recipe that we got, and then just some other little things, is 294 gold. This means as a total gold of week 1, we have 9,377 gold. Pretty good start for week 1 considering I only played for 4 days. Roughly, I played for about 24 hours, guys, and so that means that we were making on average about 391 gold per hour over the course of those 24 hours. Not a bad haul. Let's see what we can pull off though in week 2. Definitely come check out the stream at twitch.tv/OGHest to watch it live. All right, everyone, that wraps up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment below to let me know so. And if you guys have any other ideas for any other videos, please let me know in the comments below. Also check out the description for the Twitch where I do all this live, and also for my Twitter and Discord where you guys can be notified of any future updates and when I'm going to go live on stream. So I'll see you guys in the next video.